Education meeting. It's 5:30. We are beginning, and I'm going to call this meeting to order. Mr. Johnson, would you please open us in prayer?
Join me, please. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day that you gave us. Thank you for the rain. We pray that you'll be with us tonight as we discuss these matters. Give us wisdom, give us strength. We thank you, love you, and praise you in Jesus' holy name.
Amen. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, don't see any special recognition. We'll move on to commendations for this evening.
Tonight we're going to recognize the school board members who have achieved levels in AASB's School Board Member Academy during the 2020-2021 academic year. In a letter from Sally Smith, Executive Director, she said, "We applaud their commitment to school board service demonstrated by their participation." Mr. Stewart received Level 1 certification. Mr. Lindsay, Level 2. Mr. Lindsay? I said Mr. Oh, sorry, y'all. Mr. Johnson, I'm looking at you and thinking of Miss Lindsay. Sorry about that. Y'all are like, wait. Level 2, Mr.
Boy,
Johnson.
do I feel better.
You have to come up here. Sorry. I'm all thrown off by this. Level 2, Miss Lindsay, Mrs. Lindsay. I'm going to take a picture. You guys it all started with you, I'm telling you. And then we have a master 4th year for Miss Colley. I've got to take a picture, y'all.
Thank you, Terry.
On that note, I might have to let that sink in for a few minutes. Yeah. Okay. Man. It's okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. On that note, I'm taking my stuff and sitting down.
That'll come back to the Christmas party.
It will.
Oh,
Sarah, write that down. Bring it back up these sentences.
I think most people got it.
I think so. Moving on. We have 2 sets of minutes we're looking at this evening for approval. Special meeting from September 2nd and regular meeting from September 16th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Ms. Collins, second from Mr. Christenberry. Any questions? All right. We have one.
We need to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we vote? Y'all, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, and the motion's carried.
Thank you, Terry.
This is going to, yes. I'm having fun already. We have one person signed in tonight for a delegation. Dr. Lou, please come forward.
Doc, you got to have fun, right?
Yeah, well,
At some point.
this is with trepidation. I'm coming after what's going on. So
You never know.
who knows? That's right.
Right.
Something will happen. Okay.
Okay.
Dr. Lou Capanosi, President of the Common Sense Campaign. I live in Fairhope. I've given you a handout here. This comes from the Community Advisory Task Force report. Okay, many of you are familiar with it, but I think it's worth going over a couple of places that are important. Okay, I mentioned the last time I was here this question about how we're going to pay for the tech building that's coming which started at 10 million, is at 70 million. I think if those are semi-correct, in terms of the numbers. But the question about what we're trying to do in terms of paying for it is something that I think we need to go back and listen to what the task force recommended, okay? So if you'll turn to page 28, which they're labeled, it's the fifth one if you count it out, okay? Notice how on the bottom of the page, I've highlighted for you, address the capital construction deficiency by adopting a pay-as-you-go construction philosophy, which we've done, okay? That's been outstanding. Funded by a new 1/2 cent sales tax. Well, they didn't do it that way, but nevertheless, it's still part of what you're doing. That forgoes, and this is the critical part of this, that forgoes the use of long-term bonds, okay? Again, their argument was bonding was a problem. Again, we've seen how you had problems during the recession of 2008. The penny tax came about as a result of the problems we had with trying to keep the teachers and build schools. Again, in the body of this, you'll see no new schools were built since 2009. So that was a major issue. If you'll go to page 29, at the top, the BCBE leadership must think of pay-as-you-go funding rather than more bonding. So on these two cases here, that's what I'm trying to reinforce to you, the idea that when the task force finished its business, it had a specific recommendation about avoiding bonding, okay? Now, I realize that bonding is probably a good time to bond it. I'm asking Senator Albright to go ahead and bond the stupid bridge out here, okay? So, but I mean, that's one thing. It's one thing to have the state doing that, and it's another thing to have your local school boards bonding to the point where it becomes a problem, which it was a problem. And so that's my point tonight, is to try to move you to think in a different way in terms of, utilizing the bonding mechanism as a way of funding the tech building. I would also think carefully about this too. I mentioned it the last time I was here. If you're going to pay all this interest for bonding, it seems to me that there's a better allocation of that money, especially if you can figure out a way to have your cake and eat it too by having the pay-as-you-go buildings that you were planning on doing, and somehow figure out a way to do the tech building too. So, my goodness, I still have a minute. I can't believe it.
I know.
So, I will bow out with less trepidation this time.
As always, Dr.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Tyler, if you don't mind, you remember when you first came, we spent every board meeting and work session addressing every indicator in that plan. That was your first year there. We were under that plan. We were under like 3 different plans and surveys, and each one of our senior staff gave a report every month to Dr. Lou's committee on all of our findings, all of their findings, and what we did to address all of those. So I was just going to remind that we went through that entire plan piece by piece and addressed each one of their concerns and questions 7 years ago.
When this came up, if I may, when the issue came up with the bond for the Career Tech High School, I got on the phone and called John and was like, okay, the task force report, I'm very familiar with it. That was one of the things that we were like, we're not going to bond these schools out. We're going to use pay-as-you-go funds, and what are we doing different, how, and John gave a really great answer, and, I realized that we have done, I think, a great job in additions and new schools and all of these to accommodate the growth, in the county using the pay-as-you-go funds. The challenges that we ran into with the Career Tech was, the lack of the grants and things that we originally thought we were going to get for the Career Tech High School, and the interest rates were so low. It was one of those things where we knew we could go ahead and do it now when some of our other bonds are paid off, use that money to pay towards this bond, to pay it down earlier. It was sort of one of those things that we needed to take advantage of the low interest rate while we had it, lock that in, and go from there. And I don't know if you want to expand on anything I've said, but
And
I thought it
there's-
was great.
And there's the opportunity to pay off early, correct? John.
There is. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, if we could do all the existing projects and add the Career Tech High School onto the PAYGO program, I would love to do that. That would be ideal. We got $170 million of construction project going on right now. If I was to do that on a 4-year basis, that's $40 million a year of cash flow that's just not there to pledge exclusively for construction in light of everything else. So if it was there, if it was available, I would love to do it, but the practicality of the matter from a cash flow perspective is that it just wasn't feasible without eliminating half of the PAYGO program or pushing back the Career Tech High School construction another 3 years. And so under the circumstances that we were under with the interest rates the way they were, this seemed like the best choice in order for us to continue to address our growth needs and also apply the appropriate funding necessary to get this Career Tech High School off the ground. So I would love to do it as a pay-as-you-go, but it's just not feasible with the scope of all the projects we have going on right now. I mean, honestly,
And I
that's
think-
where we are.
And I think we're doing a disservice to our students who maybe
That was what I
aren't
was
going
gonna say. Yes.
to college, who can't afford to, who don't want to, whatever their reason may be. You know, they want to go into the workforce, and we've, for a long time now, kind of not paid as much attention to that population as we have others. And I think it's long past due to bring our tech schools up to the standard, up to what they should be, and even better than the standard, in my opinion.
Well, one thing that I guess I keep in mind is, I think since we've all come back together, I think we've tried to listen to everyone and we've tried to do our due diligence, and this pay-as-you-go has served us well. Sometimes I get a little concerned that the public always is asking, what have you done for me today? And sometimes they forget where we were and where we are now with no new taxes that we've asked of them. Fortunately, the economy is good, and I think we've been good stewards of our money. And this is something that everybody from the state level down to every system in the state says, workforce development, workforce development, workforce development. It's aging, it's aging, it's aging. Well, like we've been doing for the last so many years, we decided to be innovative and proactive. And I would hope that our citizens would say, hey, this is going to be a good thing because it's going to attract industry. It's going to give more opportunities for our students. So, but I do understand at the same time that people don't like that bonding word. I really do. I mean, I know John and myself have talked about it for years about, you know, we just don't want to bond, but just had to take advantage of this opportunity. So, but I do appreciate you expressing some concerns, Doc. I always do.
Well,
No.
I do think that conceptually you have to do what Ms. Cawley said. It's time to do it. So just trying to fit it into a different scheme to pay for it, which is always difficult.
I appreciate it.
Hey, one thing that
We're
to
never-
tag on to that, I think about 7 years ago where we were, and I think we've got a lot more credibility because of decisions that have been made and actions taken over those 7 years. And I don't ever want to go back and get heavily indebted in bonding. But I just think this is an opportunity that with that credibility, we can move forward with a structure, with an idea that is going to be mind-blowing as far as career tech is concerned. And I feel confident that once we get this going, it's just going to be a wonderful thing for the region, not just for Baldwin County.
Right, and like Ms. Cawley said, there are prepayment options like that. So as we get further along in the pay-as-you-go program and we want to apply a certain amount to pay off this bond early, we have the avenues to do that. And so it was structured with that intent as well. We're going to have a number of bonds pay off. We've refinanced a number of bonds, and it's something that we're going to continue to evaluate. I mean, I don't anticipate us holding this thing for a 20-year period, but that was just what we needed to do to get this off the ground.
But it's good to work together with,
Absolutely.
it's good to work together with the
Thank you,
watchdog.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
7 years.
Okay. And it's true. I mean, I just mentioned, I think what you're doing to pay as you go is absolutely correct. Okay. I do have my differences over the tax because of, you know, how that was brought about. We still believe the penny tax should be, you know, voted on periodically. I agree that 5 years is probably too short of time frame to prove it, but I do think from an accountability standpoint, that, as Cecil just said, public support is there. That's always been the critical ingredient. How do you get public support? You 2015 for a variety of very good reasons.
Yeah, good points. Thank you, Doc.
Thank
Appreciate
you. Have a good evening. All right, Mr. Tyler, we have amendments to the agenda.
Yes, ma'am. Amendments to the agenda. Amend number 5, approval of contracts, paint slingers. Number 12, leave of absence of personnel. Number 13, retirement and resignations of personnel. Number 14, transfer, intent to transfer of personnel. Number 15, employment of personnel. Number 16, extra work for extended periods. Add number 17, termination of tenured certificated personnel. Number 18, termination of probationary classified personnel. Number 19, teams contracts. Number 20, adoption of Baldwin County Board of Education district design amended.
I have a motion.
Motion to approve the amendments.
A motion from Ms. Cawley. Second from Ms. Lindsay. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries, and the agenda is amended and approved as is.
Yes, ma'am. Agenda item 1, bids proposals. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the low bidders, meeting specifications and bid extension for goods and services for the system as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Motion from Mr. Christenberry. Second from Ms. Lindsay. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 2, owner architect proposal. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the contract with Adam Stewart Architects LLC for architectural services in a form similar to the attached related to a new Silver Hill K-6 elementary school for a basic fee of 5.5% as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Cawley. Second from Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 3, Siemens agreement. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve to extend services with Siemens by entering into the agreement in a form similar to the attached as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Christenberry. Second by Ms. Lindsay. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 4, sale of Crayola Weeks School. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to authorize the superintendent to proceed with the advertisement and taking of sealed bids for the potential sale of property as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Cawley. Second by Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 5, approval of contracts, paint slingers. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the contracts with Paint Slingers, Inc. to be paid from ASCC funds as amended and stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
Motion by Ms. Lindsay. Second by Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 6, approval of contracts, behavioral consultants. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the contract with the core project for behavior consultants as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Christenberry.
Second.
Second by Ms. Cawley. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 7, approval of contracts, behavioral consultants. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the contract for behavioral consultants as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lindsay. Second by Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 8, approval of contracts, LBP Interpreting, Inc. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the contract with LBP Interpreting, Inc. for interpreting services to be paid from special education federal funds as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
Motion by Mr. Johnson,
Second.
second by Ms. Lindsay. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 9, approval of agreement funds for learning. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the E-rate compliance services agreement with funds for learning for $24,500 yearly for a period of 3 years to be paid from E-rate funds as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lindsay,
Second.
second by Ms. Colley. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 10, approval of English Language Arts textbook adoption committees. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the elementary and secondary English textbook adoption committees as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Christenberry, second by Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Agenda item 11, AASB 2021 State Convention and Delegate Assembly. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the selection of 5 of its members to represent the board as voting delegates at the AASB 2021 Convention and Delegate Assembly as stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Colley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lindsay. Any questions or discussion? Under discussion, we need to know who is going.
I'll be there.
I will be there.
I'll be there. I'm there.
You'll be there. Mike, you will be there. Tony, are you going?
I'll be there as well. I know it,
Shock.
but I'm gonna have to leave at lunch on Friday. I think that the voting is on Saturday.
That's
It's on,
okay.
it's
Yeah.
on
That's
Thursday.
okay.
It's on
Yeah.
Thursday.
Huh?
It's on Thursday.
It's on Thursday.
Delegate Assembly's on Thursday.
Come on now, I'm trying to slip under the rug there a little bit. I know that I'm going on Wednesday, but I thought the voting took place on Saturday. Am I wrong?
Yes, you're wrong.
Well, we'll be
Nice
unanimous.
try.
I mean, we're all going, right?
Does anyone know whether or not Robert has
I don't know.
committed to go? or
That'd be
not,
fantastic
Louise?
if
No?
all 7
Okay,
were there.
Yeah.
all right.
So if there's 6 of us going.
6 of us,
I
we
mean,
need-
I
Cecil
will,
can have my spot.
No, I yield to the
Or mine.
senior partner.
Senior partner.
there you go. There you go. There's 5, we have 5 delegate members and
Right.
an alternate. So
So we're good.
we'll just put all of our names down and
Right.
then if you're there Thursday.
Hey, where
and you wanna go,
where do we eat that first night? I just want to know. Let's get that.
Let's get the important things out of the way. So,
This is in Birmingham, right?
this is
Yeah.
correct. At the Winfrey.
You can't put it on your Regents card. You're going to be paid.
Yeah.
All right.
Proud to be with y'all.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
You and I.
And the motion carries. And you have all the names? Okay. Good, because I think I got lost.
Well, that's,
All right.
I tell you, that's a good thing. I think any superintendent that follows their board to see the majority, if not all of their board, 5 or 7 members, whatever there, that speaks volumes. That's wonderful to see. So
That's great.
looking forward to it, Cecil. Thank you. Agenda item 12, leave of absence of personnel. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the leave of absence of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Christenberry,
Second.
second by Ms. Colley. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Agenda item 13, retirement and resignations of personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the retirement and resignations of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lindsay,
Second.
second by Mr. Christenberry. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Agenda item 14, transfer intent to transfer personnel. Superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the transfer intent to transfer of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Christenberry, second by Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Agenda item 15, employment of personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the employment of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lindsay,
Second.
second by Ms. Colley. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Agenda item 16, extra work for extended periods. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the extra work of personnel as amended and provided to board members under separate cover.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Colley, second by Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Agenda item 17, termination of tenured certificated personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the termination of tenured certificated personnel in accordance with Act Number 2011-270, Students First Act, as provided to board members under separate cover.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Colley,
Second.
second by Ms. Lindsay. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Agenda item 18, termination of probationary classified personnel. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the termination of probationary classified personnel in accordance with Act Number 2011-270, Students First Act, as provided to board members under separate cover.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Christenberry, second by Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Agenda item 19, team contracts. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to approve the team's contracts and contract terms as listed and to authorize and direct the superintendent to take all necessary actions in furtherance there as provided to board members under separate cover.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lindsay,
Second.
second by Mr. Johnson. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Agenda item 20, adoption of Bcbe district design. The superintendent recommends adoption of a motion to adopt the district design as amended and stipulated in the agenda exhibit.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Colley,
Second.
second by Mr.
Johnson.
Johnson. Okay.
Mr. Lindsay.
Any questions or discussion?
Thank you for the hard work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
Great
hard work.
presentation.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
That's all I have.
Yay, okay.
That's all I have, Ms. Dawson.
All right. If there are not any questions of any of the staff or anything for this evening, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion to adjourn and a second. This meeting is adjourned.
Come on.
Yeah.
Bishop.